And move when I talk. Does that mean well, we're live right now?
Yeah, but we're
So-
live.
All right, so there we are. All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. It is 11:59. I'm impressed. I think I'm about 30 seconds early. So that's a good thing for me, right? As we were knocking some things out. We had a conversation about our budget uh, as we go forward right into as we start to look going into the new fiscal year come July, and kind of where we're at with money that we spent and things that we have. Uh, Debbie, good morning. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you joining in today. Uh, yeah, like I said, we just finished up a quick budget meeting. I met with the assistant chiefs. We talked a little bit about what happened over the weekend. Of course, hopefully we'll spend a little bit of time here today talking about Martin Luther King Day and Martin Luther King weekend, where there's a lot of events in our city, things that the police department got to take part of with other city leadership. Spent some time with the mayor yesterday at the food bank. We'll talk about that. But yeah, it was a good week. A little bit cold weather. I think I saw some snow flurries yesterday. I looked at my jacket. It was white for a second, and then it just turned. And yeah. I know some parts of the state got a little bit of snow, but we had some cold weather, but we didn't get much of that. But that's okay. Football weekend. So I hope everybody's team was playing or winning and doing their thing. But what we're here to today is this is our Chat with the Chief session for January. It's our first one in 2024. Patty, thank you for joining. I just saw it pop up. Thank you. So what we're going to talk a little bit, what we do in these sessions is being in this job and doing this profession for like 30 years, I was much more comfortable sitting down and having community meetings and looking people in the face, and we would do them maybe monthly. And there would be 20, 25 people that would come to a meeting, and as I work more with Kelly King and her staff here and our media relations in the department, as we talk about using technology, and we started doing these chats with the chief. So there's conversations, questions that can come in. Some people are able to sit down we're going to meet for about an hour today. We're able to sit down and do some back and forth. You can ask some questions, ideas, comments, whatever it might be. I can share with you some things that are going on in the police department. And if you're unable to stay for the whole hour, you're welcome to look back and look at some of the other comments and conversations that we have. But I usually like to give some updates about what has recently happened in the police department, what's going on now, and things we'll talk about in the future. So I have some of those listed here in front of me. And then any questions you might have. So here's some disclaimer. If anybody asks about a particular case, I'll share as much as I can, but I don't want to do anything to jeopardize a case or hurt a case. So I'll talk at a higher level without going into details. As questions come in, Kelly King is with me today. We will do this from 12 to 1, and then I'll be back again this evening from 6 to 7, right, Kelly? Mm-hmm. And I think Matt's going to be with me this evening. When people send in comments, sometimes the screen jumps, so it may take us a minute to adjust and scroll back down. I'm not trying to miss anyone. I'll try to hit each and every one. If I do miss you, charge it to my heart, we did it on purpose, but we will go back. There may be some people that want to send in some direct messages and things like that. So just pretty open format. It's really just a way for me to interact with our community. If people have questions about the police department, what's the latest, and we would go from there. Okay? All right, so I had a couple of people that's Robin. Good afternoon, Chief. See, there we jumped it already. There we go. Good afternoon, Chief. Good to see you. Happy New Year. Hopefully, I'll be visiting you this summer from New Hampshire. So Robin has joined us for a couple years now. She is up in New Hampshire. Robin, I'd love for you to come by. If you get down to Virginia, please come by and see us. Just sit down and talk and catch up a little bit. I'm sure the winters there are much different than here, so I would agree that summer is the best time to travel. And if you make it down to the Hampton Roads area, I'd love to have you come by Newport News and meet up with you and touch base. But thank you again for joining in with us. Joy, thank you. Good afternoon to you. And I probably should have started out by saying Happy New Year to everyone. This is our first chat with the chief for 2024. I think it has been, well, maybe you all can let me know as we're talking. Do you think this adds value? Do you enjoy these? Does it bring something to the table to be able to have these conversations? Or I'm always interested in feedback and what you guys think. All right, so Jonathan, hey, did I miss anybody before Jonathan? Or am I, Kelly, you're on it. All right, Jonathan, hey, Chief Drew, hope you have an amazing day. Give J.J. Thompson a pat on the back. Job well done. Jonathan, let me tell you, excellent supervision, excellent sergeant, does a really good job very committed to the department. I will certainly pass that on. And I appreciate, and I'll tell you, people in law enforcement, it's nice to get accolades and awards when those things happen, but posts like that, I'm telling you, they go so much further to recognize officers' supervision for what they do, the work that they do. That means everything to them. So I really appreciate you taking the time to post that, and I will certainly, I may tease you a little bit, but I'll certainly pass that along, and I appreciate you being here today. All right, Lucas, how are all of the officers doing in the two officer-involved shooting? Wow, Lucas, I'll tell you what, it's not a question I expected to get today. So I actually had that conversation this morning. We have had two officer-involved shootings. We did some press conferences a few days after each one. There's a reason for that, right? I try to be as open and transparent as I can with our community to share with them what happened, what are the circumstances. I'm not going to get into the deep statements. I don't want to jeopardize anything. And once we do those, I pretty much back away from them because now the investigation's taking its course, right? The detectives are investigating it just like any other shooting. Forensics processes it just like any other scene, working with the state lab in Norfolk and the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, and we'll submit everything. So two things I will tell you. I have met with all of the officers from the first incident, and I am meeting with the other officers, I believe, this evening or tomorrow morning. There's some things that we do. We have a department psychologist. That's important. We have a checks and balances, a CISM team in our department that checking on the welfare. But I also like to meet with individuals one-on-one to assess them. Just talk. I'm certainly not a psychologist, but I just want to look them in the eye and have a conversation. I can tell you they're all, no officer ever, Lucas. That's just a great question. No officer ever wants to be in that situation. None of them. And it affects people differently. I'll tell you who else it affects, right, is younger officers who are partnered or maybe working with that officer and oh, wow, I just joined the department 6 months ago. I'm in the academy. I never thought something like that would happen. And all those emotions, and that's normal. Everybody processes things differently. And I will tell you that last week I went and talked to one of the recruit classes. So we have 2 recruit classes in right now. And I went and talked to them about both incidents. Again, not going into great detail, but talking to them about in this profession, you never know what kind of call you're going on. You never know what's going through someone's mind or their life. I put out in the press conference, both of these calls dealt with mental illness issues and firearms, right? So that together can be concerning. But as far as how are the officers doing, they all seem to be in a good place. I've had some good conversations with several. I'll have some more later today and tomorrow morning, but they seem to be in a good place. And for you asking that question, that you set me back a little bit. I've made some notes about some topics I wanted to touch base on, and so that's why I think these conversations are important. I've got a lot of emails about prayers and checking on officers, and I greatly appreciate that. But Lucas, I have to tell you, for me, as a chief, the best asset that I have are men and women who do this job day in and day out, who put this uniform on, who go to calls if they don't know what's going on behind that closed door, or who's in the car when they do that traffic stop, or what they're walking into. But I'm also cognizant of families that we interact with, communities that we interact with. As much as some of these situations affect officers in the department, it also affects our communities and our neighborhood, and 2 families that have loved ones. I have talked to members of each family. Some of the conversations have been longer than others, but that's important for me. We've gone to the hospital and visited one. That's important to me. The totality and everything involved, there's so many moving components. But I try to get an assessment of where everyone is and my feeling and compassion for the officers involved, the families involved, the individuals involved. So that's just a great question. And I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Ms. Cox, thank you. Good afternoon. Thanks for being with us today. Robin, absolutely. I love that. Well, Robin, thank you. It's always good to have you here all the way from New Hampshire. What's the weather like in New Hampshire today, Robin? Just for, I'm going to say minus, maybe 0. I don't know. Hey, Chief Drew, hope you have an amazing, I appreciate it. Jonathan, you're saying Sergeant Thompson was your high school classmate. Well, maybe you'll have to send me some, give me some good jokes about him that I can tease him a little bit. But he is one of the, he's an excellent asset to the department. He does a great job. He's really invested in the community. So I appreciate that, my friend. Amanda, are there any laws for runaway kids? We found 4 kids this weekend on 28th Street that went home. That isn't the first time they ran away. Amanda, I'll tell you guys, man, you guys are hitting some good points today. 2 questions that have been brought up are things we talk about all the time in law enforcement and in the department. One of the things about runaways is we do get those that are repeat, and sometimes people, what are we doing? So when we get a missing person or a runaway, we still address that as if anything else. It doesn't matter how many times. Now, there may be times we have to get Child Protective Services involved or certain other entities involved, some family members involved. What is actually going on here? What is the situation? Why does someone continue? There may be some mental illness. There may be some abuse. It may be rebellion. Just, hey, I want to do my own thing, and mom and dad are too strict. I don't like living. Whatever it might be. But there's no. When we talk about runaways, we try to address that. That's not a thing that we're trying to put laws in that we're going to make an arrest. When runaways is first locate the individual, make sure they're okay. Second, try to get an understanding of why they ran away. Sometimes it's boyfriend, girlfriend. Sometimes it's an argument between parents. But sometimes there are issues going on in life or issues going on at home. And to work with our partners and human services or social services to bring them to the table and have some intervention, some analytical work, and work with our partners to kind of get what is pushing someone to run away. But that is a great question. But we're always trying to solve it and address the problem, and we don't really like to use runaways. Now, there are, in extreme cases, where people want to be emancipated and I don't want this, or be awarded to the state because they've done some things, but those are extreme. 99%, it's working with families, working with schools, working with human services, child protective services, about what is the driving issue that someone would want to continue to run away. But that is a great question, and it can cause a lot of problems. And it's a drain on resources too. So it's really trying to fix that problem and get a good understanding of what it is. Ms. Bracy, good afternoon, Chief. Thank you for our partnership as a newbie. Thank you for the support for you and Kelly. So, look, Kim, we're personal here. Thank you for joining in today. As we always try to be innovative and what's next, right, and progressive, and how do we move forward, I really like having those conversations. And I will tell you, as a chief, I'm looking what else is out there. What are we not doing? How do we get in the front? How do we be progressive? And technology, I'm probably the least technical person. I'm not allowed to touch anything, Kim. They don't let me. I'm not allowed to touch anything. And I was not really sure I would like these conversations. I'm talking into a round ball with a blue dot. But it has opened up a lot of conversations and relationships and doors. So I'm glad you're on board. I love the partnership. I know we've talked a lot lately. It's some different things going on. And it's great having you on the team and bringing your expertise. And, I think we always do better when we have more people at the table and talking about issues in our city. And so thank you so much. I hope you're able to stick around a little bit today and meet some of the individuals that we'll have some conversations with and some of the questions and concerns that they have and just some of the comments. So thank you so much for what you do day in and day out. And thank you for being here. Was it Ms. Carrie? Thank you. I appreciate that. I know with the NAACP, we have a lot of conversations. Ms. Cox helps us, civilian who sits on our use of force review board. She helps us with our sergeant promotions, brings a different aspect. And I probably should have mentioned that as we, matter of fact, on Tuesday of this week, right? No, next Tuesday at 10 a.m. at Gethsemane Baptist Church, we will have a promotion ceremony. So there will be some sergeants and lieutenants that recently have been promoted. So that ceremony, we were trying to do it in December, Christmas gift. I like the holidays, but it just got to be a little much. So we're going to do it in January, but it is next Tuesday at 10 o'clock at Gethsemane Baptist Church. Families will come in. We'll do some recognition of individuals who are well-deserving to being promoted. and let them have their moment with their family. And Ms. Cox sits on some of those panels when we do our promotions. And each one of our promotions, officers go through an assessment center with an outside entity that we contract with. And then the final stage, instead of just meeting with me one-on-one, I will put a panel together. It's usually me and one of the other assistant chiefs and a citizen from our community. So we've used members from the NAACP, principals, individuals from the Boys and Girls Club, individuals from our HR division. It's just important, right? Citizens ask different questions and they look at some different things. And I want the officers, as they move forward in their career and promotion, to also not just what are the policy and procedures, what are we doing in law enforcement, but how are we also interacting with citizens? And that's important. It matters of the heart, respect, interaction. Citizens ask different questions, and I think it's very, very valuable, and I think it's helped us along the way. So, Ms. Cox, I just say that to you. I know there's several others, but I just wanted to say thank you for the help that you've given us. Robin, it's been snowing all day, 26 degrees out. Yeah, there you go, New Hampshire. We'll probably bypass that, but I'll take where we're at for right now. Kimberly, thank you for being here. I hope you're having a happy New Year to you, and thanks for joining us this afternoon. Patty, the kids trespassing at Barksdale Pool, twice causing damage, apparently jumping the fence, neighbors and footage from Ring cameras. Technology, excellent asset. Speculation is they have an app on their phones, climb over back the fence, the call is made to report it, minor problems. Yeah, so Patty, I'll tell you, now there's a difference when we talk about property damage and vandalism as opposed to runaway, right? Runaway, they're leaving their home, they're underage, what's the situation? That does not give them the right. There are several laws about property damage and vandalism that those cases could be handled in juvenile court in front of a judge. So I want to make sure we're not confusing the two. Runaways, I'm running away from home, but if juveniles or individuals are doing type property damage, that's a whole nother, that's a criminal aspect. Those are misdemeanors, but depending on the damage, right? But those are, that's a criminal side, and we can address that in some different ways. So good point, very good point. I have a question. Since you can't, since when can't a citizen ask for a certain CIT officer when they call a non-emergency number? This has been told to me recently. Yeah, so if you're calling, we don't want to get in the habit of having a certain officer respond or a certain CIT member respond. I don't know the whole particulars, but I don't want to get to a habit where we have a neighborhood or an individual call and I just want this officer to respond. That can't always happen. They're not always working. They may be on other calls. So yeah, I don't know the whole aspect of that, but when if you need that CIT officer, an officer who's had that training, we can get one to you, but I cannot promise you that particular officer is going to be able to respond at that particular time. People have court, people have days off, they have other calls. We can take it under advisement, but I don't want to ever promise, hey, this particular officer will respond to this particular call. I can't always do that. We do have officers assigned to precincts. We have officers assigned to shifts. We have officers assigned to districts, but they're not always, that's not always one that we can, hey, this particular officer will respond, if that makes sense. Debbie, prayers for your department and for all that you do for our community. Debbie, let me tell you, I will take that, everyone. I can't tell you the number of individuals that reach out and emails, people I don't know, Chief, we're praying for your department, praying for officers, accolades that they give officers, and that goes a long way. So I really appreciate that. It means a lot. I talk to a lot of pastors in our community, just good conversations. And Chief, how's the department doing? How are you doing? How is the officer that handled this situation? How is the officer involved in this accident? That goes a long way, Debbie. So from me to you, I just wanted to say thank you. Robin, wow, Robin, Robin, you know what? This is my trusty pen, gel number 2. I'm going to write that down. Humanize the badge. And what Robin's saying is just because individuals, and I would agree, just because we wear these patches, just because we put this badge on, doesn't mean that we're any better than anybody else. We are held to a different standard, a higher standard of how we interact, what we do, what we say. There aren't too many people walking around that are wearing a body-worn camera strapped to their chest that records every conversation and visual, right? But humanizing who we are, that the value of people, but everyone matters. On the tail ends of that, Robin, I'll tell you, we wanted to try to humanize law enforcement a little bit. So this year, Kelly and I will go back and forth about whose idea it was. I give her full credit about setting up the set and the name, the title, the structure, everything. But I'm telling you, the idea to do it, that came from here. But her vision of taking it now to make it happen, that was all her. But we have a podcast. We have Captain Morgan Tegens, 25-year plus veteran, and Lieutenant Melissa Morgan, 12, 15-year veteran. And we're kind of doing about 2 shows a month now. And so, again, I got to defer to my friend Kelly, 15, 20 minutes. But it's really bringing in, we have a K-9 officer that's come in. We had a captain, Allison Funiak. I don't know if we published that one yet.
Not yet. This
We'll be publishing that this week. Just kind of getting to know who she is. She is only one of the only very few female SWAT commanders in the country. But she ran our SWAT team before she was promoted. Outstanding job, and she never will talk about it unless someone else brings it up. I just have the utmost respect for her. But I had to hear it really, really well. The media heard about it. I'm not sure how that happened, but they came in and viewed it and did a story as well. You might have saw that in the news, but we'll put that podcast up next week. We're going to continue to move forward, and I want to humanize the officers. I want the citizens to know who does this job. So they're in plain clothes. Please don't make fun of Morgan Tegens or Captain Tegens' shirts and T-shirts. He's pretty colorful. Born in Italy. I don't want to give all that stuff away, but they're just really good people, and it's a good podcast. But when you talk about humanizing the badge, that's exactly it. The reason we do community events, the reason we're at football games, basketball games, the reason we're at the food bank, the reason that we're at food giveaways, the reason that we work with youth is all about humanizing the badge and who we are, and I appreciate that. Kim, I understand that. It helps when, Kim, so I think you and I have had this conversation before, and I get it, but I got to tell you, if we can make it happen, we will, but more oftentimes we cannot, and I really do not want to get into the point where you're requesting an officer. When people are calling for an officer, I need to send one that's available. I do not, it is a very dangerous road to get onto. I'm only going to send this officer to these calls. So I understand what you're saying, but if there's a crisis situation, right, it's not about let me wait till this officer comes in. If it's a true crisis, I need to get someone to that individual or that person right away. So I understand your point, but for me, it's this uniform, right? There's 472 officers here, and we all should have a heart of service. Those that are all trained in CIT, I'm not. Well, we want this officer, but not that way, right? Somebody's in crisis, we're sending help to them. So I understand what you're saying. Please try to understand where I'm saying. Maybe we can meet in the middle. If it's one of those conversations where I'd like to talk to someone, maybe that's something we can schedule down the road. But when we're talking about a critical crisis situation, I'm getting help to you right away, right? It's not a certain particular officer. That's not how. That would be very, very difficult to do, and I can't pull someone off of another situation for that. So I hope you understand. I think you and I have had that conversation before, but I understand what you're saying. I hope you understand where I'm coming from with that. Is resources are valuable, right? Robin, that's awesome. I will check. Robin, sounds good. Thank you. Am I all caught up, Kelly?
Yes, you are.
Oh, all right. So I want to share with you a little bit. This was Martin Luther King Day, Martin Luther King weekend. I want to share a little bit about what some of the officers did, myself and the chiefs. So today?
Monday.
Yesterday was Monday. The day before Sunday. So Sunday, certainly attended some church services, and then I was up at Beachmont, Pastor Maxwell's church up on Beachmont Avenue, Oak Grove, and with Mr. Shannon, the mayor of the city was there. Congressman Scott showed up, and we gave out food and meals to individuals. Pastor Maxwell does an amazing job in the community. I've attended his church several times. There was a lot of us there. They were serving food to individuals in need or individuals that may not be as fortunate as others. I've done that event several years. So it was like from 1 to 3. I think it was there to 1 to 3:30. But it was just good interaction. It was great music. good gospel music, some youth there, and you see people that may not have some things that others have, and it's very, very humbling. And I think that was all part of Dr. King's vision about service, right? Helping others, and I think it's incumbent upon us to take that and move it a step further and further and further in how we advance that. So this was just an opportunity to give back. I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. Got a little tired, but had a really good time. It was good food to give out and just be around people. Got to shake some hands and take some photographs. So I really enjoyed it, and I really want to thank Pastor Maxwell and all those, Mr. Shannon, who helped put that event together. It was really enjoyed it. That was Sunday. Monday, yesterday, another great event. Very, very cold though, right? But myself and the assistant chiefs, Chief Hires, Chief Grinstead, and Chief Creswell, some of them even brought their families along with them. And we had our recruit class out, Sheriff Morgan, a lot of fraternities. But at the food bank, Virginia Peninsula Food Bank, it was a day for volunteers to come and people to bring food. It was one big day we really pushed for food donations. Food, I don't know about you, Kelly, but at the grocery store, the cost is going up, right? And so they are able to buy food at a cheaper rate. So some people donate the cash, but there are a lot of people in need and who may not be as fortunate as others. So again, citizens, the churches and fraternities brought food. Sheriff Morgan, myself, the mayor, we had a guest appearance, the Attorney General, Jason Miyares, showed up, and we received food. We took some pictures and photographs. We had a good time. It was a little cold. Guess who else was there, though? We have a young adult police commissioner program. It's a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior from every high school. And so that's 6 high schools, that's 24 students. Somehow we got 40 students. I don't know where the others came from, but we got them. And you know what? We're working with them. So you know who came out on, now I know what I was doing at 14, 15, 16 years old on Martin Luther King Day, right? I was probably sleeping, playing baseball, taking it easy at home, relaxing, day off from school. These kids, we had a handful of young adult police commissioners that came out and worked with us. And it's always good when you got some good young youth doing something, right? I'm just saying. They did a really good job. They learned service. They interacted. You get to talk to them, have some conversations. And we even had some elementary kids showed up with their parents. It was just a really, really good day. So I had a really good time. We had a lot of citizen volunteers. We had people from our CP AAA class, alumni that came out and volunteered. Anna Whalen was there. It was a host of people, and just really, really had a good time interacting and collecting food and sorting it, weighing it. And our city manager, Mr. Archer, was there. It was just a really, really good event. And the mayor, he came and we worked together for a little bit, and then he came back and he had his fraternity jacket on, so he was showing that off a little bit. So people were teasing him a little bit. It was just a really good day and a good event. So I want to thank all those that volunteered, but I also want to thank the community that brought out food and donated to other people. And I really, really appreciate that. I think all that plays into what Martin Luther King Day is, Martin Luther King Weekend is, just giving back and helping others. And it was just really good interaction. So, yeah. Am I Carol?
Mm-hmm.
I live in Arbors in Port Warwick. Early in December, a solar-powered camera was placed in the parking lot beside the emergency room. There are 3 floors overlooking the parking lot. The flashing blue light on the top of the pole is a problem for us. It can be seen at night, even through the curtains. Is there some way to turn off? Carol, so I appreciate that. I'll take a look. I'll look into it. And thank you. I appreciate that. I'll take a look. If it's one of our cameras, I don't know if it was for traffic or for other things that may have been going on when they had some of the larger events out there. But I will take a look at it and see what I can do. So this is a perfect venue, right? I would have never known that if you hadn't have said something. So I'll take a look and see what it is, what the issue is, and what we can do. But yeah, I can imagine a blue light shining through a window might be a little disruptive. So I appreciate that. I'll take a look at it. Kim, I can't tell you off the head. I don't know about what was going on the 7th. I can take a look. But if you called for a certain officer and that officer wasn't able, if you told them, I don't know, all the calls to dispatch are recorded. I'm sure people know that. So if you called and you asked for a certain officer and that officer wasn't working, and we offered another officer and you denied that, that would be why someone may have not came. But I don't, like I said, I don't know. We can have further conversation. I know you and I have talked several times. We may disagree on that, but I just have to say to you that we're not going to get into the point where we request a certain officer in a time of crisis, because I can't promise that. If you need her in crisis, we need, and it may be that we may need to send an ambulance or a paramedic, right? But we have several officers who are trained in what you're referring to, and can pull them from others. So yeah, if you're saying you asked for help and no one came, I would question that. All those calls were recorded. I would have to see what you asked for and what the situation was. Okay. Tricia, good afternoon, Chief Drew. How can we be informed on these events before they happen? A lot of times I hear about, sorry, I jumped just a little bit, hear about events after events have happened. So, Tricia, help me. What are you talking about? Community events or what? Let me just make sure I'm understanding. Are you talking about like community events that are going on and how you'd be a part of it? Or are you talking about other things that happen in the police department and being informed of it? I just want to make sure that I'm tracking. So if you just let me know, I'll come back. I have an answer for both. I just want to make sure I don't go off and make sure that I'm hitting exactly what you're asking. Richard, kudos to you and the entire city council for all your at the recent meeting. Richard, so yep, look, sometimes individuals are very, very happy with things that are going on. Sometimes individuals are not, and you can't take that personal. Now I know that's easy to say, and it's hard for me sometimes, especially when people come forward and put out things that are inaccurate. And, well, Chief, how do you know they're inaccurate? Because I've seen the body-worn camera footage, because I was in court that day, because I know the result of the court case, because I know what actually happened, not just what someone heard someone else say. But you're not, anyway, it is hard sometimes and challenging, but I appreciate that. I think I know exactly what you're talking about at the last council meeting. And you give people their say and move on. But we're human, so things still bother us and can be hurtful at times. But at the end of the day, the job we do, we have to take those things with a grain of salt. Responsibility and being professional, and it means a lot that you just caught that, my friend. So thank you. Annette, good afternoon, Chief. Hope all is well. Annette, Happy New Year to you. Thanks for joining us today. I appreciate that. Robin, have a great day. Yep, Robin, I'll be back. Kim, I'll take a look at it. Covered that. Am I all caught up, Kelly?
That's it. Mm-hmm.
So we talked about the food bank, talked about Martin Luther King. We've talked a little bit about humanizing the badge. Couple events coming up. We do have our promotion ceremony coming up Tuesday at Gethsemane Baptist Church. Pastor Riddick, great church, great community, very, very much give back, interact. We have a lot of conversations about law enforcement, and I look forward to being there. And I want to thank for the ability to use his church, place of worship there. We try to spread things out. We do our promotion ceremony in the south. We do our graduations in the central, our memorial services in the north. But I just think that's important for us to be out in the community. We have a couple of things just bring you up to speed on where we're at in the department. We have 2 academy classes that are in. One class has 20 individuals. The other class has 24. One class will graduate in March. I am super, super, super excited about that. The other class will graduate right beginning of the summer. We are starting now to hire our class that will take place in December. Our goal is to have about 20 to 25 individuals in that class. Now, while I'm talking about the academy, Kelly reminded me, I want to share something that we do here in the Newport News Police Department. So, DCJS, the Department of Criminal Justice Services, mandates that law enforcement officers have sheriffs have X amount of number of hours to be certified as a law enforcement officer. We do almost double that. So our academy is about 7 or 8 months long. But one of the things that we do where we get no credit for right now, one of the things we do we don't get any credit for right now is when we talk about humanizing the badge, if you will, having a heart of service, right, is for 1 week we'd close the books or the laptops. My days it was books and laptops, and we remove the recruits out of that learning environment and take them into a bigger learning environment, the community. They interact with individuals that are homeless. They interact with individuals who have drug addiction. They interact with youth, whether they go to a school and read to elementary kids or, at a library or in the classroom. They do a job, what I call a job fair, but it's really, they meet all the city resources that we have and outreach things that the city has that are work for the city or we partner with. We're counseling resources. What can we do with homeless? They will go interact with Four Oaks, our day reporting center that works with our homeless population. Those things are important. They'll have a conversation with high school students or young adult police commissioners and how do you look at law enforcement from a teenager's perspective in this technical age and how fast things move and what do you expect from law enforcement? And then law enforcement, the young recruits who, some of them are not much older than some of your seniors in high school, will talk about challenges of the job and what they expect from community and teenagers, right? And they have a really, really good conversation. Myself or Dr. Lyons will help facilitate that. And it's really interesting to hear about 40 minutes into an hour in, they kind of end up at the same place. And it talks about, again, how we're all in this thing together. So I'm really excited about our training academy. We have a new facility up in the northern part of the city. We'll probably be doing a grand opening sometime in the next couple months. But it is a game changer for us. But like I said, with 2 recruit classes, 1 graduates in March, 1 right before the summer. And the big thing then is starting to hire for the next class in December, or not December, in April. So if individuals are interested in joining the police department, we'll be doing hiring all the way up into, and we will start our academy in April. And I'm looking forward to that. So if that's something you're interested in, I want the city of Newport News to be the department of choice. Do we always get it right? Absolutely not. Do we make mistakes? Yes. Does the chief? Absolutely. Probably more than anybody I know, because I know the things that I get wrong. But how we're looked at is how we move forward and react when those things happen, how we address those situations when they happen. And I think that all of those things, whether it's academy or officers, chief of police, all of those things, how we interact with one another, work with one another, that's where I want us to be. Is there anybody before Joy? Did I go up one more? Newport News.
Okay. It's a month.
Wait, go. Let me see. Kim posted. One of my many outlets of information is a daily newsletter sent out by the City of Newport News. Wow. Okay. So
We'll put that back out.
we-
Newport News Now.
Newport News Now. And I'll tell you, we also do a newsletter here every week. When I got here, we were doing it, what, Kelly, like every 3 months? Quarterly, right? Maybe 4. Now we're doing it every week. And we just kind of highlight the stories. Now, a lot of those stories are also on our Facebook page, whether it's Tail Wagging Tuesdays, where we're partnering with the animal shelter, highlight dogs that need to be adopted. And let me just say while we're here, I'm going to get in trouble today. Over the last couple months, so every Tuesday we highlight a dog that's in the shelter, right? And we'll send an officer, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, detective, civilian, whatever it might be, to go interact. You see them playing with this dog for like 30 minutes, and then they do a profile of the dog. And the assistant chiefs have all gone. Well, I haven't been there yet, so I'm getting ready to get scheduled to go. So this is live. Kelly, we got one of the things we could say, groundbreaking, news break. Okay, news break. I believe I'm going to be challenging our mayor to come out on Tail Wagging Tuesdays. You pick a dog or cat, whatever, it's okay. I'm going to go with a dog and see if we can do a challenge of who can get a dog adopted. That they do such great work there, and dogs that are looking for homes or pets that are looking for homes. So, Mayor Jones, if that's something you want to do together, we can go out and do a session, roll around a little bit. I'm kind of a bulldog or boxer type, so that's what I'll be looking for. But yeah, if that's something you're interested in, but they do a great job for our city and dogs and families animals that need homes. So that's something that we're going to be doing here in the next couple weeks. Joy, is North Patrol still at Grissom, or has it moved to Sherwood? Joy, it has moved to Sherwood. It is a much bigger space. They're so excited because I know how active that North Precinct, North community is. There are so many rooms in there where, in that Grissom area, it was so tight. Officers were packed in on top of each other, and they'd been in there for years. Now we're much more visible. We have much more space. I can do so many more community meetings and community events. One of the things coming to the North Precinct is we're going to buy a simulator and give young people and citizens and pastors and the NAAs, we're going to give individuals an opportunity to go through simulation. Now, it's not that's just a video game. I will tell you, let me tell you about this video game. This video game, I can put my hand on your chest, right, and monitor your heart rate. You can feel how people's hands are sweating when you get those real life situations. And is it a fire or not fire situation? And you get points, or are you able to de-escalate, talk someone down by talking to them the correct way, or do you get amped up? And you get a lot about. We'll be using that with our recruits as well. It's always better to use live training, but that takes months to set that up. And to be able to go into a simulator, whether it's with a headset or a room that has screens all around, and you get, before you walk in, you get, hey, you're going on a domestic call, probably the most scary calls officers go on, and here's the situation, you walk in and you're in it, right? So it's really all those things. It's not just about, can you hit your target? Is it shoot? It's shoot, no shoot, de-escalation, officer safety, working with. But it's a great way of training. And again, when we talk about technology, how much of that we can use and evolve, and I'm really, really excited. So they are there in the new North Precinct, and we'll be having an open house. But there are a lot of community rooms in there that we can do a lot of different things. I'm really, really excited about that. Trish, community events before they happen, information. So Kelly, help me. There is a city website as well that has community events, a community calendar, if you will.
Right, and you can subscribe to their newsletter, Newport News Now, but just by going to the City of Newport News.
So there's the Newport News Now newsletter. There's links to that on the website. But I will tell you, for the events that we're going to do in the police department, whether it's a graduation ceremony, whether it's something at the food bank, we're putting that on our Facebook page as well. So that's one of the places you can find those things. It's important, and yeah, that means a lot to me that you're even asking that. So if you follow us on Facebook, right, that's where we'll post like, hey, we're going to be at the football game this week, or we're going to have a flag football contest or wiffle ball contest. I'm giving you away some things we're going to be doing this summer. VIN etching, that's become really big here in our region and in the police department. All-day hiring events, and not just for police officers, for dispatchers and individuals in records and the technical assistance that we have. So that would probably be meant for if you're looking at police, our Facebook page, hands down. Citywide events, Newport News Now in the city link, if that helps you. And Trish, if you want, I don't know if you want to send a message. If you're good with that, but if you send a message, direct message to us, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Did I use the right term in technology?
Kinda, yeah.
Wow, how about that? Direct message us with a number. I can shoot you a phone call, or have Kelly shoot you a phone call and direct you to where some of those things are at. So, Tricia, let me just say this to you: the person that just posted after you, this individual named Aaron Watkins, he works in our recruiting division. So one, I'm glad he's monitoring. I'm sure he's down there working while he's monitoring this session. But he's posted and says, we're having a hiring event on February the 10th at 8 o'clock at 9710 Jefferson Avenue. So Officer Watkins, who is one of our recruiters, putting information out that the police department is hiring for officers, and it'll be a hiring event on February the 10th. Now, the reason that's so important, right here, and he's got the address at 9710 Jefferson Avenue. One of the reasons that's so important is we do a lot of those things that might take multiple visits. We do them all in one day, right? We're doing the physical agility test, which is not that difficult. We're doing the written test, which is not that difficult. You're doing some screen interviews, which is not that difficult, right? Follow me? Not that difficult, not that right. But you can come in and do 4 or 5 things in one day, work you through the process. I think we've got one of the smoothest process around. We have a lot of other departments that come. How are you doing that? How are you making those decisions in 60 to 45 or 30 to 45 days? It's important, right? People are looking for jobs. And I don't want to lose a good quality officer because it takes us 6 months. I don't want. So we work with our HR division. Those all day hiring events or recruiting events to speed up that process. It's been very, very beneficial for us. So Aaron, thank you, my friend. I know Aaron and I are both waiting for baseball season to get back around. So I think pitchers and catchers report February 15th. So we're right around the corner, my friend. Patty, we are all in this thing together with our fabulous, Patty, I will tell you, I am very blessed and very humbled to work for this city and this community and this department. It is the men and women that make all the difference. I see the stuff that they do day in and day out, and I also see the stuff that they see day in and day out. So I've been doing this job 30 years. There's people here that have been doing it longer than me. There's also people that are just starting, right? So people that, where I'm at, we should be giving back, working with the next generation of law enforcement. We're going to be better tomorrow than we are today, and we are better today than we were yesterday. So as we continue to move and advance, not only in our training, but who we are as people, humanizing ourselves in the community, advancing in technology, our training, all of those things play a role. But I am very, very, very humbled to work in such a great city. We have a great relationship with our mayor and city council, our city manager, and I'll tell you, it's not like that everywhere. It's not like that, and we don't always agree, but we're able to sit down and reason together, have conversations together, and move forward. And I am very, very thankful for that. This is a very, very good city to be in. It is a very good city to work in, and I'm very thankful. Kristen, I've noticed black poles with a solar panel and what looks like a camera in random places around the city. Do you know what those are for? So, Kristen, they can be a couple of different things. There could be some cameras tied to that. It could be some other things. Sometimes with I don't want to say it wrong, but sometimes there's technology used to track how many vehicles are on a roadway. What's the speed of vehicles? There's all kinds of different things that can be used for. So I don't want to speculate, but some are certainly for cameras. Absolutely. Debbie, tell me which is the great idea? Did I have one? Which one was it? Mine or was it one of Kelly's ideas? Because she'll try to jump on that. But Debbie, thank you. I appreciate you being here. And that not only do you care about us, even include our four. Yeah, I will tell you. So the Tail Wagging Tuesdays, that's a fun event. We tease each other about it a lot. Like I think the dog that Chief Grinstead had actually knocked Chief Grinstead over, and they got into a wrestling match. Chief Hires had a dog that it was just funny. Some of the pictures. So I tease him. Chief Creswell, he's kind of a cat guy. I'm just playing. I asked him if he was going to have like a cat or something. He wanted to do a stuffed animal, but it is what it is. But no, it's just a fun event, and if you get to take a look, I know a lot of those are on our website. If you see some of the photographs, you'll get a kick. And please feel free to tease the officers about it, because I certainly do. Joy, yeah, more space, absolutely. Teresa, wait, did Kim have something? Did I miss one from Kim?
Bryson?
No, Kim Morton, I believe.
No, I think I had them all.
Oh, okay. All right, very good. I'm sorry. I thought Kim. Annette, not only do you, I got that one. Joy, space, good, very good. Teresa, we brought a group of therapy dogs, yes, to visit with the North Precinct officers last week. I don't know who had more fun, the dogs or the officers. It was awesome. Teresa, I will tell you, those therapy dogs are doing amazing. I've seen them work in dispatch. I've seen them work officers after they've seen a pretty bad incident, whether it be an accident or something that's happened to a child or youth, or they've been exposed to something that's traumatic. Those dogs do great. I think your dogs did some, I'm not sure who typed it for them, but I think they did some posts and responses back to some of the pictures on Facebook. But they have been very beneficial. I know when you go to the precincts, because I got no officers on the street, they all want to hang out and play with the dogs. Even the detectives, it's just, that is a very, very valuable asset. We talk a lot about workplace balance and having being well-rounded, not just law enforcement, right? being able to step back and breathe a little bit, humanize the badge again, if you will. And yeah, you guys are great, and I thank you for working with us. Faith, good afternoon, Chief Drew. Hope you're healthy. Faith, happy New Year to you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Things are going well. We got off to a really good start this year. We had some bumps in the road last year. We spiked in violence in our summer. We made some changes in the latter part of August and tailored down towards the end. But it was a rough year for us. Certainly been a lot of coverage in that. One of the things that didn't get covered so much in the media is we had like 30 less shootings, non-fatal shootings, than we had the year before. And I think that's due to some of the changes. And I think we're seeing that residual roll over into the new year. So more to follow on that. I'm going to get the crime numbers. Matter of fact, they're on my desk. So I'll look at them right after we have this meeting. Kim, I will say that this. I do appreciate you. And what, Kim, it's nothing personal. I will tell you, I appreciate you. Like I said, I know you and I have had some conversations. We may not always agree, but I do like the ability that we're able to have conversations. And you matter to me. I care about you, and I appreciate you taking the time to be on here today. So thank you very much. Am I caught up, Kelly?
No, we missed Anna.
Oh, I missed Anna. Oh, my goodness. Let me tell you, if I miss Anna, I will hear about it all day today. So let me just go back. Hello, Chief. Just checking in on you. Thank you for all that you and your department is doing. So, Ms. Whalen, thank you. Thank you so much for what you do with our community. Thank you for what you do in the department. Ms. Whalen works and oversees our volunteer program, the CPAAA. So what it is, it's alumni who have graduated our Citizens Academy. Citizens Academy are put on by Monica White. Monica may be monitored today. She may pop up here and tell us the next date for the next Citizens Academy, but that is an amazing process. It's about an 8-9 week course and a couple hours each week, and we just kind of open the doors to the department. The narcotics guys will give presentations. The community youth and outreach, the gang division will give presentations. Homicide detectives, people in our recruit training academy will give presentations. We'll talk about what our use of force review board is. We'll talk about where we're at with staffing and what we're trying to do. What's it like to be a police officer, the life of a police officer. So you really get to see a lot of insight on the department, and we really do that so that you get a better understanding and can take that information and share it with other people. I think it's very, very valuable, and I think it goes a long way of being open and transparent. I'm all about creating those relationships. So when something negative happens, that there's already a trust factor. Right, that we can have a conversation. We're not always going to agree. I totally understand that, but I like, much like the back and forth with me and Kim today, individuals who may not agree with something that happens. I didn't like this traffic stop. I didn't like that you blocked the street. I didn't like that, but at least I understand why you did it. I still don't agree with it, but we have good conversations and move forward. And I think that's one of the best things that we have going forward, working together. Mr. Torres, wait, am I reading that right? Mm-hmm. Torres, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, you would hear it from me. See, Anna would not. Anna, that's why we waited, just to tease you a little bit. We skipped over it and then came back. Kelly was like, just for a minute, and then we come right back. Patty, Citizens Police Academy Class 19 graduate, highly recommend. I will tell you, those academies, those Citizens Academies, they get to do a lot of different things. They go to the range, you're able to shoot with the firearms that we use. If that's something you want to do, you learn about, it's just really, really good. You learn about laws and, I didn't know that you couldn't do that. Yeah, right. Sometimes we can't remove things unless we get permission to do it. It's just a really, really good class. And then what we do with those individuals who graduate the Citizens Academy, those are the individuals who have some understanding of what use of force is. Those are the individuals that I asked to come and sit on our use of force review board panels. When you look at officer body-worn cameras and we go through it together, right? And you all decide, not the chief, you all decide. Is that force reasonable within their department policy and guidelines? Is it unreasonable and way outside the department policy and guidelines? Or is it reasonable? However, here's some things we can look at differently in training. Right? We can't do police work like we did in 1985. We have to evolve, and those departments who don't evolve, we get left behind. So I want to make sure that we're on the cutting edge of things and moving forward and looking at new ways and better ways to do it. Change is not always easy. There's a saying in law enforcement, if I get it right. Law enforcement officers don't want to change, and we don't like the way things are. I think that's right. I think that's right. Can't believe I put that out there. I hear it from the firemen all day today now. But no, we have to evolve. We have to change, look at new ideas, new technology, new training. Because we didn't do that 30 years ago doesn't mean that we shouldn't be doing it today, right? But it also, how do we look on things that have been successful in law enforcement and build on it? So that's great. Citizens Academy is just excellent. Did I see one from Kim? Kim, the next Citizens Police Academy is scheduled. Look at this. Take place at police headquarters, 9710 Jefferson Avenue on February the 22nd. April 18th, 2024, once a week. Thursday from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30. With exception of one Saturday, and that's set aside we go to the range. Wow, look at that! You just pop that right up. So that's what partnerships are for, right? I'm telling you, Monica White does an amazing job. I could not be the stuff that she does with youth, but those Citizens Academies, and we even do them for seniors, right? We were just at the Chesapeake. That was one of our last academies, and I get it. Everybody likes the canine dogs. I get it. So I try to go before them as they overshadow you. But no, it's a really good event. I actually went to the Christmas party they had out there, and it's really really good event. So Kim, you're coming to the next academy. So Kelly, we got to make sure Kim gets a front row seat.
Right.
I mean, she's got to be like in the front row seat, but you will love it.
Mm-hmm.
You will really enjoy it. Now we're getting some alumni pop up. Here we go now, right? So CPA Citizens Academy 2 from back in the day. Joy, are you saying that was back in the day, class number 2? That's pretty impressive. I think they're well above 50 now, but they are just great classes, and you really make some friendships that last a long time. Friendships in the class, but also friendships in the department. And I will tell you, officers really enjoy interacting with that class. So there might be some food and snacks, and see, here we go. Here we go. I got introduced to the police department when I went to the Citizens Police Academy 19 years ago, and I'm still involved and enjoy every minute. So just touching base on Anna. 20 years ago, she did one of the Citizens Police Academies, and Anna came out to work with officers and recruits at the food bank yesterday, and she was there when we started, and she was one of the last ones to leave. You build friendships for a lifetime, and I love you, and I appreciate all the things that you do for this community and this department. She's a volunteer, so yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So where we're at 12:57. Kelly, is there anything as we move forward? Let me tell you a couple of things that the department's going to be focusing on as we move forward into 2024. Wait a minute, Joy. Inspiration came when we lost Steve Rutherford, and I graduated high school with his partner Todd. Joy, I'll tell you, Police Week and a memorial service is not too far away. It's one of the harder things, and as a police chief, there's nothing worse than losing an officer in the line of duty. I was in the academy at my last agency when I heard about Officer Rutherford, and I was just actually had a conversation with, my relationship with Chief Grinstead is why I think I can say this. We were just having a conversation the other day, and he was reflecting back on how old Steve would be today, where he would be in his career, would he have retired by now? And he just stopped me, and we probably had about a 15-minute conversation. I could just tell it was on his heart, and so I will tell you, Joy, I appreciate that. In our lobby hangs the portraits of every officer who has given the ultimate sacrifice in this profession, and that's why I have such great respect, because nobody knows. I don't know what's going to happen later today, tomorrow, what kind of call I may get tonight. Officers don't know what's around the corner, what they're going to be faced with, things that they're going to see that I wish, some of the stuff that I wish no one ever had to see. We can suppress it in our minds, but it's never gone. So men and women who do this job, they matter to me. We don't always agree. But they have my respect, and I am humbled to work for such a great organization. I see the things they do day in and day out. So that's a great point, Joy. I appreciate that. Kim, can I do we can certainly talk about it, Kim. I might have to make some arrangements. We can certainly talk about Did I miss anybody else? Anybody else?
Oh,
Joy
Anna's
would.
recruiting.
Oh, Anna's recruiting already. See, there we go. The whole thing was so sad. Very true. Very true. Let me give you a couple updates what we're doing next. I'll talk to you about our promotion ceremony. The first part of each year we set our goals. We go over our goals for what last year were, and did we reach them? Did we not reach them? What things contributed to that? And we set our goals for this year going forward. And some people look at that. We call that like a balanced scorecard here in the police department. And we don't just do goals for crime reduction. Kelly will do goals like how many followers do we want to be on our website page? And I think her goal last year was, I'm going to tease her a little bit. Was it 30,000, Kelly? What was your goal last year?
For Facebook followers, my goal was 46,000.
So her goal last year for Facebook followers were 46,000. The first week of February when we do our meeting, did you meet your goal for 46,000, Kelly?
Absolutely.
What did you hit?
We're now at 49,300.
So she surpassed the goal. We're at 49,000, about 300, coming up on that 50,000 mark. That's important, right? That's the people that we're getting information out. So we will do things for budget and finance. What's our goal? How much we're going to try to slow down our spending of overtime. How many officers do we want to hire? How are we looking for 30 for 30? And I should have touched base on that. That is our push to have 30% of our department being female. And the average across the country is about 12%. And we're floating right there about 22, 23%. We want to have a diverse academy. We want to have a diverse department. And that just doesn't mean people we're hiring. That means in supervision. We want this to be the department of choice. What's our percentage of individuals that we're going to rehire? How many applications do we want to take in for dispatch? When we talk about what are reductions do we want to see in a particular neighborhood, or reductions we want to see overall for the department? What do we want to do from the budget side of the house? What do we want to do from the IT side of the house? What do we want to do in training? How many specialty schools do we want to put on? All of those things, we set goals, and then what happens is every Thursday when we have our ComStat meeting, individual groups report out on where they're at, right, on their goal setting. So the crime is always there. Our clearance rate, we want to be above the national average in each one of these categories. So it just gives us, it's a good guideline for us, it's a good baseline, and when everybody knows what the mission is and what the goals are, everybody's moving in one direction to achieve that. And it takes multiple layers to do that, right, but it's important. So we have a goal of bringing on for the first time a civilian to help us with domestic violence. We brought Dr. Cheryl Shavers, and she's changing things, right, on how we train and how we work with domestic violence victims. When we talk about we want to hire social workers that are embedded in the department and don't work just daytime, that are here at 6 in the evening till 2, 3 in the morning. We've done that. We have 2. Human Services trained them for us and sent them back to us, and that has been a game changer for us. So those type things is what do we want new and creative to bring? How many new classes do we want at the academy? But those type of things. So we'll be doing that coming up. And then we will start looking at summer programs. We partner a lot with the Boys and Girls Club with kickball, wiffle ball, that's a flag football. I think some things we're looking at is midnight basketball coming up in a couple months, and how do we partner with churches and schools to do those things? Strengthening our partnerships and relationships outside the department. So all of those things are important and they play a role. What advances do we want in technology? What do we want to move towards? But yeah, so that's just some of the things that we want to look at. So I'm looking at Anna here. She's sending out email addresses and interactions. So my friends, we went over about 3 minutes. I was here I was on time today, Kelly. It wasn't. I didn't start. I was on time today. Kelly says you were. Shakes her head. You were. Maybe that should be my New Year's resolution, to be on time. But we're going to do this again at 6 in the evening, 6 to 7. I think Matt will be with me this evening. Listen, I appreciate all of you that took time to sit down with us, and I know we've had some back and forth and some conversations. Excellent questions today. But it is a way to have some open conversation. And look, this job is challenging from our forensic technicians, records, dispatch, the things that they hear, what officers respond to. It is challenging. It's demanding, right? You got to come to work on your day off. You got a court case. You need you to stay over because you made a late arrest. There's a marathon in our city, so we're going to use our officers who are off to come in and guard the intersection so no one gets injured. But this job is also extremely, extremely rewarding. And I'm very, very thankful. I'm very, very thankful. So thank you very much. Kim, thank you. I appreciate that. And I follow you. I know exactly what you mean. Debbie, thank you so much for being here today. We'll do this again at 6 o'clock. Forgive me if I missed anyone. I'll usually try to go back and say, Kelly, did we hit everybody? But this is a good. I appreciate it. Thank you. God bless. And hopefully I'll see everybody back at 6 this evening. Take care.